Respectively, you have Representative Ben Ray Lujan, New Mexico Democrat, and Congressman Luke Messer in Indiana. Republican gentlemen, welcome. Thank you.
Hi, Thank you, Brooke. Yeah, glad to be here.
Congressman Lujan, let me just begin with you. We have sort of this early indication of what the president will address. We're told, he'll propose a hike in capital gains tax, free community college tuition, paid leave for workers. And when you look at those issues, I mean, let's just face it, they're DOA on arrival in a Republican Congress. My question to you is, let's look past this. I mean, is this speech really about setting the stage for 2016 and then thus putting your colleagues on the opposite side of the aisle on the defense?
Brooke, middle-class tax cuts should not be a non-starter. I think what the president's going to lay out tonight is a clear path to help the middle class. While we're seeing the economy get stronger, Wall Street is doing better, but the middle class is still feeling the squeeze. And tonight is about reaching out to them, making sure that they understand that we're on their side and that we're going to be working with them. Middle-class tax cuts is not about politics. This should not be a partisan issue, and I'm hoping that my Republican colleagues will join us in making this a reality.
But it is partially about politics here and those issues, and we can ask your colleague there, Congressman Messer, these are not survivable if you ask a Republican member of Congress.
Yeah, I mean, this is about politics. It's a tax and spend policy right out of the 1970s. It didn't work then, and it wouldn't work now. A couple decades ago at a State of the Union, President Clinton famously declared that the era of big government was over. And once again, President Obama is declaring that it's back and from his mind should be roaring forward. Rather than raising taxes and trying to redistribute the wealth, what we need is a healthy economy. For example, last year the federal government received $3 trillion. That's a record. It's a 40% increase from just 4 years ago when it was 2.1 trillion. If we had that kind of growth in the private economy, we'd have the biggest economic boom in recent memory.
Billion, trillion, I know it's hard to keep track, and I think you both gentlemen would agree that we want to grow the economy, right? But let me ask you, Congressman Messer, just staying with you, we heard from, and I'll say potential, italicized, underlined potential, Republican presidential candidates. We heard both from Mitt Romney and Jeb Bush, both talking about income inequality, and that's something I thought that you hear really more from Democrats. Do you think that this is a victory that Republicans are sort of trying to kick off their own presidential campaigns? This is really primarily a left-leaning talking point.
Yeah, I mean, there's no question that shrinking paychecks are a reality for working Americans. The problem with this plan is not so much that it would somehow hurt the rich. The problem is it hurts the very people that it pretends to help, because if you tax job creators, you'll get fewer jobs, which means fewer opportunities and lower wages. Again, what we need is a healthy economy, and to do that, we got to stop spending money we don't have. We got to reform our tax code so it works for everyday hardworking Americans, and put more money in the pocketbook of consumers so they can grow the economy from the bottom up, not try to grow it from Washington.
Let me loop back with you on this whole Mitt Romney potential issue here. But Congressman Lujan, we know that the president has overseen this rise in income inequality. That has to be a big problem for your party.
Well, Brooke, the problem is that our Republican colleagues are calling targeted tax breaks to the middle class a non-starter. Look, I think we can all agree, Democrats and Republicans, that the middle class needs our help. Again, Wall Street is doing great. People at the top are doing extraordinarily well, but the middle class continues to feel that squeeze. So why not agree that we can work towards this effort? And I don't know about my colleague with what folks he's talking about, but when I look in New Mexico, it's the middle class that are the business owners. They're the ones creating opportunities. They're the engine that we have to pay attention to. That's where my focus is. That's where Democrats' focus is. And I believe that's where the Congress's focus should be as well.
And I would just add that the middle class has been hurt under the policies of this president. Paychecks are shrinking under this president. And frankly, this policy is more of the same from this president. It would grow Washington and at the expense of our broader American economy. What we need is a healthy economy and to make the common sense decisions it would take to get that jump started.
But it's all about priorities, though, and the priorities have to be in the middle class.
I hear. I see both of you shaking, nodding. I have to ask you, Congressman Messer, before I let you go, Mitt Romney, could the third time be a charm? Would you support him?
Listen, I want to have a candidate that can win in the 2016 race. Mitt Romney obviously is a good man and someone highly thought of in our party. I'll listen to his
Is
case.
that a yes or a no?
I'm not ready to say yes. We need to consider others, but he's certainly a legitimate candidate.
Can he win?
Brooke,
Can he win?
I think the first test of that will be, can he win a primary? And we'll have some time to see.
All right, Congressman Lujan and Congressman Messer, thank you both very, very much for joining me. CNN special coverage, of course, of the State of the Union address begins tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern.